完成。いい加減おとなしく切られやがれ。穴があったら入りたい。
I think I did that right. Nope.
What you mean with the intro?
The places.
All right, one more time. It just doesn't want me to be the judge today. All right, one more time.
Okay. Oh. You almost had it. It was there. I don't know what happened.
I was steps away from greatness.
Yeah,
My computer messed me up. All right, give us a second. We'll get all our technical difficulties out. Episode 1 will be coming at you in less than 15 seconds once I figure this out. Nope. Apparently, we're doing our spaces like this. All right, and we're back. Mikey just didn't want to give up his judge seat today, and
it's open.
He's going to argue from the judge's position. Normally, I would be in the plaintiff position, ready to hold down my spot, fight for justice, freedom, and the American way. But today, actually, this whole weekend, it's been my birthday, and until I eat some cake, I refuse to believe it's not. So here we are. Day 2 of me. Day 2? Day 3. Day 3 of me constantly drinking and celebrating my birthday. Apparently, Asia thinks I'm Jon Snow and I don't know nothing. But oh, he back.
For a second.
Wow. Nah, bro. Wow, it just does not want to move me today. Anyway, I know plenty about this topic, Asia. I so choose to sit on the sideline and let one Pokemon Master, and one digidestined duel it out. Now, today we bring to the case, to the court, none other than the age-old question. It's 1999 all over again. All over the airways, you know, it's two shows that you can't miss. I mean, aside from your Dragon Ball Z and your Sailor Moons, if that's what you into. But you had your Pokemon and you had your Digimon. And you had two very separate camps, right? Like the card game separated you, the game separated you, the anime separated you, the power-ups, the friendship, like it all seemed so similar, yet it was worlds apart. And now we bring these two worlds together into a courtroom and we ask today, which one was better? Which would you rather be? Would you rather have been a Pokemon master or a Digidestin? We're going to give each person 5 minutes max to speak on their topic because Pokemon is the juggernaut that it is. We're going to give Charles a chance to introduce himself and then speak on his topic. Mr. Rie, if you don't mind, or Giovanni, if that's what they call you.
Well, I'm about to say I go by many names. I have many faces, but that's besides the point. I'm here to discuss on behalf of Pokemon because a lot of us receive slander, and I feel like it's very well known and popular, but it's also underrated. Um, I'm one of the founders of a Frozen. I also compete in some of the Pokemon groups. I've been very big on like a lot. I would say
Talk
like
your shit.
fighting. Yeah, a lot of like fighting anime. Um, I'm I would I don't know how to put it, but kind of like a multi-regional guy. But I do hang out mainly in two of them. Um, let's see. I love
So,
both
what
of
are these
these artists.
regions that you speak of? How what are
So the
we?
regions that I'm in, like mainly in Frozen and Tajiri, I have joined Ujima. I left some of the other ones that I'm in, and I'm in like a few giveaway and like trade groups because I be trying to get all the like exclusives and stuff.
Are
But
these black Pokemon groups? Are these
predominantly, yeah,
friendship groups?
not predominantly, with the exception of the giveaways, but the other ones they're all black. But I originally came in because I was getting my ass beat playing with my homeboys, and nobody wanted to teach me. So I came with my tail tucked between my legs and got taught the ways of Dark Lords. And since then, nobody wants to play me. But aside from that, I'm just here to like basically speak on something that I grew up and I came to love. I definitely have a passion for it, and almost to a point where I could teach the class on it. So
I mean, do this be you though? Out here fighting for
I, do-
pocket change?
I could be on that type of time, but I'm not big on that. It's more of
I
like a
mean,
read thing. But so we doing
per regionals, you make money and you get to go to Hawaii this year if you make it to regionals.
yeah. I'm gonna just train in the meantime though. I'm not in a rush to jump into the VGC. I am trying to train for it though, but I'm not in a rush.
True. Well, let's hear your argument, good sir. Now that we've heard your backstory and we've seen the swing from Naruto.
All right, so I would say Pokemon Master would be the way to go if I had an option to choose. Point blank, being that you can start generally at a young age at 10, but you can pretty much have your journey be experienced at any given point from what we've seen through some of the video games as well as the anime. Um, you get like real life animals because they're not necessarily something that's depicted only for kids. Um, you can range anywhere from like I would say maybe one in your party if you only have like just one favorite, up to six. The rest of them go into a box that you can easily interchange between. Uh, you have the option to basically sightsee in the world. So there's not really nowhere that you're limited to just your hometown or anything like that. It's a lot of like freedom and like like reading room that like the kids are even allowed, which allow them to develop like social skills as well as like battling prowess and just intellect or whatever the situation may be. As far as like actual real life compared to like the actual games and the shows, once Pokemon Go started, they had a lot of people that could have been dealing with PTSD, anxiety, even like social like moments where they didn't know how to communicate properly, anything like that helped them come out of their shell and overcome certain obstacles. Um, Pokemon does have evolution that's similar to Digimon, but the difference is it's permanent. You can't necessarily revert back. So you do have some people that choose like middle stage or even baby stages of certain mons, and some people that are
Yeah,
like
because
fully evolving all of
Garchomp is a monster that flies. Keep in mind, it is like a 6 foot tall dragon that flies above land.
them. Yeah, it's a dope ass land shark. Um, Let me see what else. All the so from the generations from because there's nine right now, but all of them are connected as far as like continuity. And between like the anime and the games, they drop a lot of gems that show you like how everything is all intertwined together. Um, they have multiple things that you can do. You have competitions. You have whether that's like beauty, just cool contests. They do like different races and like food cook-offs and stuff. Of course, you can do like the traditional way of actually going through the gyms and battling, or even competing in like real life tournaments. So that's always a thing as well. Um, let's see what else we got here. And the global competitions as well. That's been something that's been pretty dope. I feel like, as well as of course, you can get like money and sponsorships and everything, but it allows you to travel and just meet other people that y'all share the common love and goal interests in, as well as just playing through the mainstream games or even like the trading cards and stuff. But I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, how do you address this allegation right here that Digimon is stronger?
I don't feel like it's necessarily an easy way to one scope that, but even go off of it because that's something that could be said on both sides. We even had like a previous conversation about like friendship, which I know Digimon have a crest for, but that's always been the scope when it comes to Pokemon itself. You have protagonists like Ash as well as Red, or even other people that have always proven that, like just going along with like your best beloved buddies and people, like that you develop bonds with over time, always like triumph in moments that you need it. So when you think about Ash's Charizard, we're not even just gonna talk about Pikachu. Him growing from a Charmander to Charmeleon, getting cocky, feeling like he was the hot shit, even evolving into Charizard to where it was like even a bigger ego, where it's like I'm only gonna listen when it's beneficial, but you don't see me taking no L, so I don't really need you. Up until the point where
So
he's
can
been
we
humble to it.
can we
What?
stop with the Charizard slander and put the blame where it really belong? Since we in the
Nah, I'm
courtroom
not trying
today.
to slam him. I'm not trying to slam him. I'm
Nah, nah,
arguing the
nah.
point. But
'Cause Ash was a
my
terrible trainer. If Ash was a better trainer, Charizard would have listened. Charizard evolved before
it
Ash
has.
was ready, and the whole time they kept trying to tell his ass that. And because he never got better as a trainer, he never actually had Charizard listen. He had other people help him to evolve and grow into the trainer that Charizard needed, and Charizard still never came back.
No, he came back. Yeah, I mean, you
Didn't
obviously
Not
haven't been
permanently.
watching. Permanently, it was never meant for him to come back just due to the actual like continuation of the show. But he has come back in a lot of different situations throughout all the different regions and everything. Even in the movies,
That's
he's
because
come back at plenty of times. But it's
this
like,
Charizard's a fan favorite. If it wasn't such a fan favorite, that nigga would have never kept Charizard around. Like everybody loves to blame the Charizard for his loss, but it was actually Ash. If
I
Ash was a
mean,
better
I feel
trainer,
like that's debatable, but it's like more so. I don't see it as that, and it's not just from a debate standpoint. It's just more so of like I felt like he also needed that for his growth. So it's like to some extent, I do see like him being inexperienced, but I also see it as a cocky thing too because personalities are a huge thing. When you have a trainer that's not as confident, it has been shown that certain Pokemon are hesitant to obey or even care to trust their trainers because it's like, you don't seem like you know what you're doing, so why would I even put my faith in you? So things like that do happen to show character development as well as, the continuity of the actual shows and the games.
Right, but they
Um,
showed you in the game like when your Pokemon isn't trained, or like if the level's higher than what you can master, then it's not going to listen to you.
But that
Like,
was only like the first two, maybe three generations, because after that, as long as you had, as long as you were the original trainer, most of your mons do listen to you despite like the power level gauging. That kind of became a
so
thing later on.
yes and no, right? So like you can get them to listen to you, but that's also like something that you shouldn't be able to do. Like that's only for if you're speed running the game and that's a hidden mechanic. But like otherwise, let's say you're the average 10-year-old. How do you go about that in that case?
I mean, I don't know, because the average 10-year-old ain't necessarily a scrub, so I can't
So
really say it. But
does
I
that
don't
mean
know,
that
dog.
the games are made easier just because they don't facilitate that? So like the old days are now gone. Like it's just easy
It's
now.
experience share.
Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't even
nah,
say
that
anything
does
about that.
yeah, yeah, but that does play a definite huge part into that as well. But it's just even the ones that like you use. But like I said, like that was something that they ended up changing after somewhere, I want to say between the second and maybe like the fourth generation, because it started pretty early that they took that away. I think the experience share for everything was introduced in Gen 3. And then from that point on, they started having it to where like it was a badge requirement that didn't matter. But as far as like your original mons, unless you caught them generally at a higher level, that wasn't something that mattered. If you raised them from babies, they pretty much listened to you no matter how strong they got. But that's why I was saying like in the sense of like Charizard being who he was because he was one of the very first. Um, Even like when you go to like looking at other mines like Infernape, Greninja, um, his Crocodile, he had like Dragonite, Lycanroc, like he had a lot of powerhouses over time that he were able to grow and bond with just based off of their experiences and like also the the background of some of the mines. Some of them he may have saved, other ones may have been outcast by previous trainers. But it goes to show like when you develop like beautiful bonds, you show that you're willing to be there for them through anything. Because just like like animals in general, you can get a dog or a cat that's been abandoned, by its owner, and it could take you weeks, it could take months, maybe like a couple years before they realize like, hey, this person really genuinely loves and cares for you. So it's just that type of thing, and being able to do that, I feel like it helps people in a lot of different ways, not just from like the game, but just in real life. Kids,
Yeah, yeah,
introduce them
yeah.
how to love and care, by something else. But you get what I'm saying.
My bailiff
So
gonna
I
have to
feel
stop
like,
you right here, big dog. We're gonna have to give Mikey his 5 minutes before you guys see Bailiff Brawley for 5 minutes.
all right,
Out here giving up friendship stats and telling all about Ash out here bonding over the power of friendship. Like he
hey,
got
it
the
works.
power of friendship, Chris.
I mean,
I
if I could
mean, you
hit
see it
critical
all the
hits
time.
just by Pokemon liking me, that'd be cool too, I guess.
Yeah,
I gave him a piece of candy and now he hits criticals every time I want to. That's pretty cool, I
I
guess.
washed him up, and
Hey,
now
that
my
just do it,
Pokemon
candy. You just gotta
cuts it
spend
out.
time with them.
I'm, I'm just saying.
Candy ain't enough, man.
Friendship be magic in the new Pokemon games, but I'm impartial. All right, Mikey, hit me with these Digimon facts. Why should I be a Digidestined?
What do you mean? Why? You should always want to be a Digidestin. Ain't nothing cheap about it, right? So, uh, first off, I'm an average enjoyer of both franchises, Pokemon and Digimon alike. Okay, I I never thought I'd have to choose between the two. That's something I don't want to do. But if I have to, right, it's Digimon all the way, of course. There's no now given between the two, obviously I think Pokemon had better branding, so a lot of people over here know a lot more about Pokemon, right? Like generally, there's a lot more places. a lot more groups like your regions that you have for people to join and act and be whatever. TCG2, that's one of the top 3 or 4, at least top 5.
Yeah,
So
Pokemon's a huge, like probably one of the biggest anime franchises there is. It brings in almost 11. It's worth almost $11 billion.
yeah, it's huge. It's big. Like, and what is
Too big to
Digimon
fail.
compared to it had to have a rebrand and it's a relaunch of their own TCG. So comparatively, you got a lot of Pokemon stuff winning. Now, why would you want to be a digidestined? I want to pick apart some of the arguments here. You said the crest for Digimon is only for like that specific niche, like that thing, right? More or less.
That was
I get what
season
you're
1.
saying.
Sure, we could say season 1. Sure. It happened recently, I guess, or at least in the past couple years. Anybody see Digimon Try? I'll let you know ahead of time. It's pretty much the Digimon tamers, the tamers, where you can see them grow up actually, and that's a
Yeah,
big thing, by the way. The Digimon
huge.
and their trainers grow. Okay, there's no there's no I've been 10 for like 15, 20 years, and I have to shave my 5 o'clock shadow every day so no one sees it, mind you. This is they grow and they experience a lot of things through their entire journey. Like I'm talking about years. So from the 01 kids, there's Tai, Matt, Sora, all the other people, like Agumon, Gabumon. You have those people who were like 10, 12 or whatever, grow into being middle schoolers, high schoolers, and then later on. Digimon Try shows that. It's not just a crest thing, like, so let's say Tai's crest is courage. He has to be courageous all the time. In the movie Try, as he's an adult or young adult, he's scared. Okay, he's frightened. If he was a regular kid and the crest mattered, he wouldn't be frightened. He's scared for his people, everything that's happening. Like he's worried. He's not courageous. That you can't use the crest as an argument here because he's showing that he's growing. He's not just blindly courageous and doing whatever. He's like, I got to think
I
about other
mean,
people
I've
now.
seen Ash in this situation too, dog. So I don't know.
That's
I
fair.
mean, you may have seen that in there, but you can't say that he's not a brave 10-year-old with superhuman abilities.
Right.
He always takes his mitts
Mine
out
is
for people and stuff.
another
and he
thing.
never back down.
He's superhuman. This man's picking up a Lavatar, right? And how much Lavatar weigh? Like how much?
I mean, even in one of the
Listen,
previous series, Gen
Ash be
7,
in
he picked up a
the
line
gym.
that should have weighed tons. Like he be working out.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I would like to bring our audience into thinking about something here. Everybody seen Death Battle between Pokemon and Digimon, correct? Would you
yeah,
guys like to know that the winner there was Digimon? I want everybody to know that. Let that sit in for a little bit. Just let it sink.
Nobody
Why?
cares.
Because they got beat up. Ty said, "I'm tired of my Greymon just fighting by himself for real. I'm gonna just go beat up Red. What's he gonna do? Fight me back? No, he's gonna stand there and give out more commands. He's gonna wait his turn. Digimon don't want you to do that. They kind of just they fight with you. They fight with you, like physically fight with you. There's not been a season of Digimon where the tamers have not thrown hands along with their Digimon. They
that's
could be a
true.
pet all. They could be a
So
pet
we
all they
gonna
want.
disregard whenever the gym leaders went against whatever that group was, and they was throwing hands with their mons, even
Oh,
though it
that's
was in the anime.
That
how
was
long
But
did it take?
Universe.
How long did it take to do
but
it? You
still,
said
and
Unova?
I don't
That
know
was
because I
Gen
didn't
5.
watch that season. Yeah, I
Gen
didn't watch
5?
that season.
Ty was
Yeah.
throwing
I know
hands
about
Gen
it.
1.
Hey,
The
by
first,
Gen 5,
But
Marcus was
my
that was season
point is
5 with
they was
Marcus.
better because Ash has had brawls with people over all
yeah,
the years
Ash has fought
and all the
Pokemon too.
generations.
I'll admit that Ash has fought
Yeah.
Pokemon plenty of times. Like him, I think I
And
recently saw a
Bob.
clip of him and 3 Breloom, and the Breloom were about to get it. Like for real. Brock is lucky because he stopped Ash from really hurting them. All right, I'll say that. But we got a human. Let's say he's like 5'10", right? Marcus Damon fighting a 6-story, I don't know, Craniumon. You don't know about that. It's a giant knight in armor. He wallops him with one punch and makes him sit down. He says, "Bro, it's fighting time. Let's go. I'm tired of this stuff. Agumon, sit back. It's my turn."
Like he
Where you get
actually
that at?
races Agumon to the fight.
Agumon follows him. He don't follow Agumon. Agumon's like, "Yo, can I go yet? No, I'm not done fighting yet. I'll let you know, Agumon. Sit back."
I mean,
right? I everybody likes going up and down. You know, like my Pokemon, I like it to be the last level, want to be the strongest it can be. But I also want to be able to go to the car and go to the mall. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to like be just normal in the car. I don't want my Greymon to be stomping inside of the car. I want to be an Agumon just chilling with me. For real, right? That's the convenience of Digivolution going up and down. It's fine. It's cool.
Necessarily
Feel
because
that.
that's the difference between them both, even though I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Pokemon can go in balls, but when it comes to Digimon, you got
Mm-hmm.
to think about it. Like the perception is really only with kids, with the exception of very few like adults or teenagers that have been able to see them. That has always been a thing when it comes to Digimon. Everybody can't see them.
I'll admit
Everybody
that.
don't understand what's going on. So even with you saying that, that's kind of almost a null and void situation.
Not
Because even with
exactly.
you bringing, but even with you bringing them, they're damn near either transparent or when they're perceived, they're not perceived as anime, unless it's through like the lens of very few individuals.
Not
So that's what I'm
exactly.
saying. Like, but
I
yeah,
say
it's different. Plus, if
Digimon,
you want
right?
to walk
Pokemon,
around, you get
Pokemon and Digimon. People are gonna see Digimon. They're just digital monsters. They're digital code brought into real life.
but everybody don't see them. That's the thing. That's been a thing
Nah, they
for
No,
definitely seen
they
them.
see them.
no,
There's
they
They
there's
just
see them, but not to the. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Everybody, for one, doesn't see them. There are very few people that do see them outside of the digidestined. That has
mm,
always been a thing.
tell you what.
Like
I'll
with
re-
the exception of movies or whenever, of course, like they had those
mhm.
moments where like they had those big battles. In general, they're not seen. It's not that they are hiding in plain sight, but they
Is it
are.
that
nah,
people?
they
People just
definitely on
don't.
the train
They
with
don't.
these
What
niggas.
I'm saying is,
I'll
they don't have the lens of actually being aware that they're there and they exist. It's only
I'll
through. It's like kids have like a foresight for it, if that's the
okay.
best way of
That's fine.
describing it.
I'll
So it's
raise
like
you.
they can see it.
I'll raise you. I'll raise you. Digimon season 3 Tamers. You got this kid named Takato. They're playing Digimon through the card game. Okay, Digimon is like a abstract thing, like you're saying. Like it's like the imagination of a kid brought into life through cards, right? The adults and everybody else don't really see them. It's just the kids are everybody's perceiving them as just made up. You have a whole organization in that world, right? That know Digimon exists and prevent them from being shown to the public because they know the damage they can do. This group, they're not digidestined. They're just people who know the damage that they can do. They want to keep everybody else safe until the digidestined decide to step up and like, hey guys, we're here, we're defending the city, we're doing all this stuff. I can't say for sure that people don't see it because it has happened. People have seen the
Yeah,
Digimon.
but think about it. You talking about a specific season. That wasn't like that in
Oh,
every season of it, which is why I was saying what I was saying. Like even in the
oh,
original, like I
uh-huh,
said, yeah, they had moments where other people were
uh-huh.
able to notice them, but in general, that's not a common everyday thing. That's what I'm saying. It has
That
moments where people do realize their presence. In general, it's probably perceived just through like the parents of the destined or whoever they live
uh-huh.
with, and very few like kids or some people that could possess like the foresight. It's just not a common thing.
Not
That's what I'm
exactly.
saying.
I'll raise you again. You said that's a specific season. It starts in Digimon, the first season.
Yeah,
The Digimon come into the real world and they wreck shit. And people were like, "What's the fuck's going on here? What are these things?" They're not there for like a couple days. They're wrecking house for weeks.
Biota's
Like
mom was like noticeable. Like
there's
he
a big dude standing there like a
hypnotized
vampire
niggas.
sitting there. Like it's crazy.
I know, but there's also been moments when like that when they're doing stuff and it's
Yeah,
like only the kids are seeing it. And nobody like, what are
that's
you talking about? What are you looking at?
only certain kids could handle that because those are the Digidestined. You're right, but
Yeah,
there's still people there noticing. Damn, these guys just ate my ate a round from a tank. Like, what am I gonna do here? Like, I don't have anything. I don't know what that thing is, but it's something, right?
Right.
Digimon are there. They're zeros and ones. It's like saying the computers don't exist.
so in terms of danger, how would you handle that if you were in danger or if there was some natural, let's say, enemy that came around, whether it be a Pokemon or a Digimon? I'm gonna let you start first, Charles, with Pokemon. If you were in danger, or how would you handle the danger of the Pokemon world? I guess is the better question.
Depends on what's actually going on because I can use my minds to help, as well as rely on the help of other people. So I mean, it's not
I mean,
necessarily just
you walk around in the forest and you got a 3 foot Pokemon to jump out ready to punch you in the chest. What you gonna do? Because that's Hitmonchan. That nigga on Route 5.
I ain't trying to get hit by that for real.
I mean, like I said, it just all depends. All that stuff can be handled in certain situations. At the end of the day, if it was even up to me to begin with, I'm always gonna have one of them like running or walking around with me within like arm's reach. It'll never be far. But in general, even in that situation, you got some people that are aware of their surroundings and some people that aren't. My point is, I would use my resources, my knowledge, and my understanding to deal with those situations as needed. So I can't
At
really
10?
say anything without a specific. Yes, without a specific. Bro, you have seen very specific 10-year-olds that have shown like they are knowledgeable. You have seen kids younger than that that have even shown it. So even when you watch the show, like I said, or even like play the games, or like I'm not as well versed in the anime, but I mean not the anime, the manga, but I've
Oh, the
seen
manga. The
kids.
manga is wow. That's a different
I know,
beast. You don't even
but
want to touch that.
I've seen kids that have shown that like their IQ is like beyond their understanding and all of that stuff. So it's like it really depends on the person. It
Yeah, and
really
I've also
does.
seen the Pokédex entries where they say the Drifloon still children.
I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, I agree with Charles here. Like everything that's going on, you kind of need to be there. Like you got to have the
Yeah, that's what I'm
knowledge in
saying.
that.
Like you have
You
to,
can't just
yeah. So
roll
you
with
can't
nothing.
necessarily just scale that off of anything because you have to have an understanding.
Nah, B. You met my children. Like none of
But
them would be prepared if I pushed
but
them
you
out of
don't.
10.
Okay, but that's the thing. You don't know that because you got to think about it. How many kids do you
I
have at 10?
I absolutely know if I
How many
pushed
kids do
Izzy
you
out
have?
into the world and said, go fend for yourself and catch you a go catch you an electric rat. She's looking at me like I'm fucking crazy.
First of all,
She's
you don't
11.
consider out there
I,
like that.
I I think that
She's
she can
allowed
handle
to
it.
get one from the professor. That's
I
one that you got
You
to.
think that's gonna save her?
Two,
I think that
it
she can
can
handle it.
definitely help. I think she can handle it. I
I
think you
think
would
she
be
can handle it.
surprised. But like that's why I was saying what I was saying because all that plays into, like I said, like how we're raised, our own personalities, experiences, and everything like that. All that plays a part into it. Some kids you won't know how they're operating until they're in the fight or flight situation. Until they're alone and they have to fend for themselves in general. Like you can't
But how
necessarily
many times
base
have
it
you
off of
seen
that.
Ash almost die in the Pokemon anime?
Prime example, and we don't
Every
even have to
time.
talk about he don't die every time, but when it comes to just
He's
TV
canonically
shows or
died at
movies or
least 7 times.
anything, how many
7.
times have you seen kids show like that they can fend for themselves and their parents are like just completely in shock, like I didn't know she was able to do this. I didn't know he could do that. I didn't know that they knew how to do any of this. Like you would be surprised. So you can't judge it off of that. Just
I
because your
can judge
child
it.
may
Like
seem like
I can't
a
judge
nerd or
everyone's
whatever.
child, but I can judge mine.
But what I'm saying, I'm not saying you can't judge them. I'm saying you can't assume that you know how they're going to handle every situation if you haven't seen them in those situations, especially with you not being around. It's hard to say. You might have a child that you think is just the ultimate princess, and she could be a deviant towards other kids and be a tyrant, or it could be the other way around. She's a tyrant around the house, but she's completely like scared around other kids. Like you don't know what they do when they're not around and vice versa. So that's the thing. You don't know that. You can't judge that. Like you've seen baby geniuses, I'm pretty sure Boss Baby or anything like you can't go off of that. Like there are some kids that are extremely smart and cunning. So no.
Nah, B. I seen the Pokemon anime and I've seen the Pokemon manga, and a lot of those kids be getting their asses handed to them. And a lot of people in the like Pokemon world stop at a certain point because raising 6 Pokemon is a lot of work because you have to equally raise all of these Pokemon and make sure that you yourself are like worthy of them. And if they don't see you as their master, they will turn against you, like Ash's
But that's
Charizard.
not a that's not a common thing. I mean, that's even with Digimon because it's not even just from one verse or anything. It's not something that's common. It
Not true.
happens, but it's
Yeah.
not common. You
It's
do
not
see
common because you
digidestined that are
usually see
trusted
them.
by their Digimon, and you do see why they feel the way that they feel. You do see
No,
Pokemon
absolutely.
treat their
Like
master like that.
you
But I'm
rarely
saying it's
see
not
Digimon
common.
turn on their master.
Uh-huh.
Like, but
I wouldn't say
Pokemon,
rarely, but
Bro,
it's more of a
it happens.
popularity thing and what people. That's what I'm saying. So it's more of a popularity thing and understanding because that's not entirely true. And you also have some that fear their trainers or their digidestined as well. So there's a lot of different things that play a part into that. So that's why I said like you can't really base it off of that because it's so much more in depth.
in all the Digimon, there's only been one instance where the digidestined Pokemon turned. I mean, Digimon turned against them. And even when Devimon turned against the other digidestined, he never turned against his own masters.
There's been at least from what I can count in my head 5 times actually, and I'll get
Yeah,
to it
that's
later.
what I'm about to say. Yeah, I wasn't gonna. I was just gonna tell him like
There's
I
there's
know more than that,
there's
but like
plenty
I
of
get
times where it's happened. I promise
yeah,
you. I'll
it
get to it
has.
when you're done.
But that's why I'm saying like, and that's why I was trying to tell you what I was saying because like you got to think about it, it's more of a popularity thing. So Digimon is very good as well, versed and it's very well detailed and explained. However, it may not be as popular. So you may see more things from a Pokemon aspect than you would from Digimon because one is more popular than the other. That's just like talking to somebody about Dragon Ball Z versus Sailor Moon. You have certain people that only watch Sailor Moon that understand that versus Dragon Ball Z. So it's different. It's not that they don't have the same elements or similar, stuff that happen. You only know one more than the other because of your preference. So I can't really agree with that. It's like you can see Ash die 5 to 7 times, but it's not to say that you didn't see a Digidestin die. Not saying that they died and don't, but it's like the same things can happen. It just may
Nah,
not
but
be as
you've seen
often.
Ash canonically die and keep coming back. Like that's been the same nigga, and he's been dying and coming back.
I don't
I mean,
real
dude, I don't know. It really all depends on how you look
one.
at it.
I can only think of three
Because I
times.
don't know how many times specifically he's that. Yeah, I would say I don't know how many, but I know in the sense of seeing it. If I'm not mistaken, it's always been through a movie, so it's never necessarily been in the anime
Yeah,
itself.
I haven't seen them
And I
at all.
honestly gauge that differently, but that's also me different, like as being a person versus somebody. Because yeah, the movies may be canonically involved, but I wouldn't say all of them follow everything perfectly. Certain things are
Six
just
times,
there just to
according to
introduce.
Google.
But like I said, it's all movies. It's
Bro,
not
he
something
gotta
you see in the anime.
he need to go back home, dog. Like, he needs to go back home.
I
Yeah,
mean, hey, Delilah sent them out there and was like, "Look, baby, go be great," and he did. He did. I mean, you gotta
it's
think
not
of it
all
about a 10-year-old that
the movies either. In the episode Tower of Terror, Ash and Pikachu have an out of body experience,
Oh
which
right.
actually have them actually die.
They technically did die, but they got their souls back in their bodies. I would say they
um
went comatose for real, for real.
that's what I'm about to say, maybe something like that, but I let it I accept that.
It was in
I accept
lavender
that.
or close to lavender. I mean, let me let me talk to you. So this question is like for Digimon. You said, what would you do if
Like a
for
disaster or something was to happen, like how would you
Like,
handle the
how would you
situation?
handle the danger level of being 10 and being a digidestin? Or honestly, I wouldn't even say 10 because digidestin have been
they've been
younger than
older?
the age of 10 and
Older.
older than the age of 10.
There's no
Hmm.
age. There's no age exactly for
There
each.
is no age limit.
Um.
Like you're chosen, you're chosen.
So like specifically, like what would I do or what would happen? Because there's a lot of things.
That's why I was telling what I was telling them about me because it's like even in the sense of the Pokemon world, it's only so like you can't know unless you're given a specific scenario. Like
All
no
right.
scenario was given, so you
I,
can have other Digidestin around you, right? You can
that's
be
what
able to
that's what I
be
was gonna
strong
say.
enough to do it on your own. Like who
I'll run a
knows?
couple scenarios. Let's run one from a movie, right? Uh, there's a little bug on the internet called Infamon, and he launches nukes. I'm gonna go to sleep. There's nothing I can do about that. There's quite literally nothing I can do about that. Sure, I can send my Digimon for him, but like, there's nothing they could do for it. It's over. I'm gonna go lay down and I'll, whatever is whatever. Like, what do you want me to do? What is it? What you want me to do? Nothing. He's on the internet already. He's got through plenty of firewalls, mind you, plenty. The government's firewalls. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, and let's pretend I'm like 13. I'm about to fail my algebra test, bro. What you mean? What do you want me to physically do? Like, I don't I don't. My favorite Pokemon's like a different Pokemon you probably haven't heard of, or Digimon you haven't heard of, like the Coronamon, right? He's basically a giant furry fireball like type Digimon. That boy's sleeping
Of
with
course,
me because
your
he knows what's
figure
about to happen.
Digimon's a furry.
Kinda. I mean, he turned into a giant robot later, but we're not gonna talk about that. That's something completely different. I don't want to get into it. He's gonna look at me. I'm gonna look at him and just like, all right, bro. It is what it is, right? Because now, different scenario. We got some big whatever like Digimon outside the city or in the city doing some crazy shit. I'm gonna call my homies up. I'm gonna say, bro, it's time to go. Let's go. Let's ride. Let's ride. Then we handle it. Because we're the digidestined, and we can let everybody else try to handle it. Maybe they'll do some damage or whatever, but we have to solve the problem because it's our destiny to do so. That's different. Now, I mean, for the first scenario, maybe somebody else is gonna get on the internet and send their Digimon and call it a day. But me, that's not happening. Like the quadratic formula, that shit got me beat. Okay, it's over. I mean, for a scenario where Digimon, there have been plenty of times where Digimon have actually turned on their tamers. Tai got upset. Agumon turned to Skull Greymon. Skull Greymon didn't listen to anybody and attacked everybody. Everyone, including Ash. Or Ash, wow, I'm getting mixed up.
I knew what
Tai.
you meant. It's all right.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Continue.
Go back to Marcus Damon.
I forgot all about that one.
Did you know that he didn't choose Agumon? Marcus actually, when he met Agumon, they hated each other and they fought. They straight up, he fought a little dinosaur with wristbands. Like a human dude was like, hey, yo, you're on my block. I need you to fucking move. And he's like, no, what you gonna do about it? They fought. Claws, fire breath, and he just used his hands. They fought. They weren't even... And then they fought again, by the way. After they were cool with each other, later on down the line, argument happened. You should have did this. You're the tamer. Well, you're the Digimon. No, they fought again.
It wasn't even even.
Guy who could turn into a giant, big-ass dinosaur fought this dude. What do you want me to do? What's going on here? We got little Impmon has two tamers, right? They're fighting over him because they want to be the lead tamer or whatever. He smacks them both, lights fire to them, and runs away. Because I don't want to deal with that. Digimon don't... The problem with... To compare a Digimon to a Pokemon, Digimon have just as much free will as a Pokemon, but they will tell you so. They will hurt your feelings and tell you so. Because it's a language you can understand. They're going to say, bro, you suck. Get out of my face. I'm going to find a new tamer. Hey, look, I'm the Digimon Emperor, right? Wormmon is afraid of me because I'm telling him what to do all the time. I don't care what Wormmon has. His opinion doesn't matter. He's small. He's a worm. I hate him. He's going to turn on me. He does, eventually, and helps out the other tamers. Now I'm stuck sitting here. I'm not the Digimon Emperor anymore. I'm just going to go somewhere else. Like, it's terrible.
Facts.
I honestly feel that if a kid were to become a digidestined, and it's not like we're sending them out at 10, it can happen at random times. They could be 7-year-old, like looking at the TV, it suddenly glows and they're in the digital world. They might be lost forever, for real, but like they might be able to handle it because Digimon might take care of them or it might eat them. It's either or. And I know it happened in the Pokemon world too because it happens in the manga. So, I mean, let's be real. I feel Digimon. It's kind of hard to gauge whether or not you want to be a Digimon Digidestined between being a Pokemon Master, but I feel like you got a little bit more of a chance being a Digidestined because you could talk to them and talk them down. You know, in a scenario where you might not have your homies around, you probably convince a whole bunch of Digimon, hey, look, I need to get home. Can you help me out? Why not?
I mean, in a lot of cases, they have been able to talk to them. They've been thinking that they were chefs, that they were princesses, that they were like random things, and they were able to use logic and reason.
I don't have to convince a Suicune that I'm not trying to catch him. I'm just trying to get a ride home, and he gonna run away from me. Like he'll understand. He'd talk back to me if that were the case.
I mean, so I would say that
have telepathy,
right? Some of them do have telepathy.
Understand. But yeah, most of them, in a sense, they do understand like human speech, and there have been. I mean, you can see like humans understand like moms, but it's like it's different based off of like I would feel like personality and all that because I see it in both. I see it with the digidestined with other Digimon, and I see it with trainers with other mons in general. You have some mon where it's like they're in tune almost with like the world and everything around them in nature. So it's like they can receive help from any Pokemon, and they don't have to be a trainer. You know,
Right.
they might have one mon and just don't have none at all. And you will be like, how are you able to do that? And it's like, it's just we have understanding, like we communicate. And you have, some like, kids that you've seen like receive help of Digimon and they may not be a tamer or a digidestined. So it's like you can kind of, I don't know, look at it from both perspectives like that.
I
But at
think
the
it's the
same
same.
time, when it comes to like the legends and stuff, I think they more so deem you worthy. I'm not saying that Digimon don't do that, but it's
Oh, they,
more so of that aspect. And like something like Suicune, like you got to look at it. He's always being hunted. You don't really see, even though it does happen in the Digimon world, you don't really see a lot of them being hunted by like hunters, and
yeah.
they're trying to
No.
profit them off and stuff like that. So it's like it's a different aspect when it comes to that, as well as like the evil organizations. Usually, you deal with like one, maybe two people from a Digimon perspective, where it's like Pokemon, they got a whole goonery unit just in the background, just waiting, and they running off of one boss or something like that, But still, in all, like they got hundreds, if not thousands, of people that have dedicated their lives to this cause. So it's different. It's not necessarily the same. And it's like because of that, just like you got Digimon that don't trust, humans, you got Pokemon that don't trust humans because it's like I've seen when this happens. Look at what happened to Mewtwo. Prime example. I mean, yeah, we could talk about Suicune or Lugia and anything else, but it's like look at what happened to Mewtwo. Mewtwo trusted
Mewtwo
humans to begin with,
Mewtwo was
got
ungrateful.
betrayed, and that's what was he really ungrateful though?
They created him ungrateful.
Yeah,
Just because they created him does not mean that you get the control. That's
nigga, I
just
brought you to
like,
life, big
but
dog.
my
Like I
thing is
gave
just
you life.
because, but nah, I don't look at it like that. Because
Nah,
even if
I
a
agree.
Digimon was created by somebody, that doesn't
Yeah,
mean that you get to control every aspect of their life.
absolutely.
Or just
I
because you're their tamer or their, the Digimon, like
you
you
can create
don't get to, no, it don't
you can
work
create
like
the
that.
zeros and ones to create the program. It doesn't mean the programs will follow you. It's the same thing with
Exactly.
Pokemon.
And the
Nah,
same with
I
Pokemon,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it
So I
shouldn't
mean,
be like that. So that's why I
I-
feel like certain
I'm
times,
your master. You gonna listen to me? I'm gonna kick your ass out. I'm gonna go find another Digimon,
I
And
or
when
feel
you
you
gotta
like
end up
go.
getting folded like a lawn chair
tell you
and
what.
you sitting there
Yeah.
laying clean for your life,
what
remember
what
that when we
happened?
walk by and it's like,
What
what's
I
up,
Hold
do?
me
bro?
then, baby. Treat me
They
like
either get
fresh
a bigger
Monday.
Digimon or they're gonna train to become bigger, come back at you.
Oh,
That happens
that
because Digimon are petty.
Yep. But
Fold
I
me,
mean,
baby.
Pokemon are like that too. Like you've seen Pikachu, like when you got to think about it, because Pikachu and Ash always bump heads at least once every season. So it's like in the most frequent one, they got into an argument or whatever. I forgot what it was specifically, but I know Pikachu was like, you know what, bro? Fuck you. Like I'm good. He went all the way to Palatine, like all the way. Like Buddy hyped and was like, I'm tired of this shit. Fuck this kid. I'm good. He was like, I'm going home to mama. So when he finally like made it there and everything, of course, she scolded him because she like,
It made
y'all supposed
anyway.
to be
Did
best
he
of
get
friends.
arrested?
But when Ash finally realized where he was and he got there, he apologized and everything. Pikachu still headbutted him and shot the fuck out of him. Like, nah, we good. But yeah, and I mean, it's like you could look at it from a standpoint like, yeah, that they're basically like brothers or whatever the situation may be, but it's a respect thing. You don't just tell somebody what to do or show favoritism or whatever the situation may be. It's not about that. It's supposed to be mutual. You mean to tell me you got a Digimon that can go at least 5 stages, and you just think you finna boss Buddy around?
I mean,
I would
that's
rather
him, though.
deal with a two or one, maybe three evolution mon versus a Digimon that can go beyond champion level and beat your ass because it's a deity, and you think you could just tell him what to do. I'm not playing them games. Like I want to live at the end of the day, so nah. And I feel like respect go both ways.
I don't know, dog. Like the difference I feel is like a growth thing, and like how that growth is transferred and like shown through the show. So like for example in Digimon, that growth is shown that like Mimi was more sincere and she was able to open, and Sora was able to show that like she had love or that she understood how her mom was. Like Matt and TK were able to reunite, and like friendship wasn't just like, oh man, I believe in us. It was, yo, I'm a child of divorce. I don't get to see my brother. My dad's never really around. I don't know what friends are.
Hmm.
And he had to learn what being a real friend was, not just like friendship, power up, go. And it's something that's real. It's something that you learn. It's something that like a lot of us struggle with today. Like a lot of adults don't know how to really make friends. Like you don't go up to people and just be like, "You want to be my friend?" That only happens when you're like 5.
You don't do
I
that.
mean, yeah, but I mean, it can still happen as adults.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
got
say
to
you don't
think
do that,
about
bro.
it. You go in the club or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or not even a club. You go in a bar. You could be watching a game, like it could be the playoffs or whatever the situation
I
may
was in the
be, and
bar on
y'all have the
Friday.
same team. But my
That'd be
point
crazy,
is,
mate.
like, just off of y'all drinking, right? It's like
Uh,
y'all done bonded just because y'all have the same team or y'all agreed on a particular like topic, like y'all automatically cool. Like you can
Absolutely
go
not.
play basketball or join a division to like play football every weekend, not know these guys' names at all, and y'all as thick as thieves every time see him like, "What's good, homie? What's good, bro?" Like nods, daps, everything. You don't know nothing about this man. You don't know where he live, where he work, or nothing. Y'all play a sport together, and y'all are cool. That's enough. Ain't that the same thing?
Hell no.
Ain't
I got
that the
resting
exact
Kanye
same thing?
face. So like every time I go any place, everybody's just like, that nigga look angry. And it's just like, nah, that's just my regular face, dog.
Well,
Like
you the
I
eyeball.
either look
I
like
don't
the
know. They
psychopath
get like
smiling in your
me.
face, like, hi, you wanna be friends? You wanna hang out? That's Brittany. That's why she's always approached everywhere we go.
We we not
Like
talking
she's
about Brittany right
mad.
now. We talking
I
about
can't
you.
tell that story. But just know they're she everywhere we go, she be getting approached. Like we were in the bar on Friday and like this white woman just walked up and kept rubbing her thigh and kept trying to talk to her.
All right, we gonna stay on topic now. We going on topic. But now I get where you're coming from. But my thing is like you have some
we
people that
back.
be
We back.
real. Yeah. So yeah.
But I would say I appreciate like the growth and being able to see like when Digimon comes back that you can see the growth that happens between hey, season 1 we were children and then we left off and now our brother and our younger brother, younger sister are gonna go off in generation 2. Hey, we're back for this movie or hey, we're back for this and we're noticeably older. Our Digimon are no longer around. We don't have the same power because y'all Digivolve different. So
it's
this is a one-time thing. This is a one shoot. This is you know what I mean? Like it's a legacy team up.
to carry over. Like it
I mean, I
has
could
more
agree to
merit.
disagree with that because, like, when they bought back Try Adventure, it was basically a
Uh,
continuation. They were just older, and they had to basically like get accustomed to like their newer, like standards and situations and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily the
Yeah,
same. I just think that was more so Digimon themselves trying to segue into another form of like buying people in. Like, hey, we have another, way of evolving, whether it's
right.
through the
Like they wanted
cards,
to
whether it's
give
through
you
the
that
hunts,
like
whether it's
legacy
through
series that you needed.
yeah. My
And
it's
thing
like
is
that's
just
where I feel like Pokemon hasn't given us like even in the games, like they don't fully give you all the Pokemon that you're looking for. Like there is no one game with over the 1,000 Pokemon that you have. And when you see the anime, like you get to see these moments where Ash like reconnects with the people, but it's never like enough. Like I kind of wanted to see Richie be there watching him live, not just on the
on the
screens.
TV. I get what you said, but I
Yeah,
think
like
that they do stuff like that because like that's writers and all that. Like that's something that we have no control over. They
no,
just propose
absolutely.
it.
I just
Like
know
yeah, so
like
it's like, and I get that, but that's even with like understanding like how they grew. Like they chose to not let Ash age, or even try to keep Misty, Rock, Gary, and other people like within like similar like forms to where they're not really growing. They're just acknowledged to be older than Ash. Like that was all intentional, and it was just something that they just chose to stuck with. I think that it ended up being something where it was like we put so much effort into it, we didn't take like all the time to really read and pay attention to what we're doing, and now we're so far into where we can't just age him because we've done too much.
Right.
And it's like
Like,
everybody loves the 10-year-old version, yada yada yada. So it's like let's just run with it. So it's like it's a love and hate thing. It is frustrating for people who started off, as actual kids watching it. But I mean, that's just the actuality of it. But they're different. One is targeted more towards a really young audience. And I mean, yeah, it can be a worldwide thing for all ages, but the other one is like it's more of like a coming of age thing. So they have different aspects to them.
right. And
So
I
it's like
think as far as like,
I see it from both
yeah,
perspectives. Because like when you
as
look
far as
at
like,
it, like if you really watch, like Digimon from beginning to end, especially with like the first original cast, when they come back, they're older. And the second season where they have Davis and all of them, and even in the season where they come back themselves, like they're much older. So it's like they're adults
yeah,
now and stuff, or like whatever. Whereas like with Pokemon, it's just different. Like, but you just see the growth of Ash over time. I mean, they still got to give him moments of being a 10-year-old, so that's normal. He can't be just this busted person all the time. But that's
That's
anything
fair.
that you watch. You can't just let somebody constantly be overpowered. You have to have obstacles. You have to overcome things. You have to have personal growth. Like whenever he became like the Alola champion, even though a lot of people may not like it, look at how he became it. You can't just say he was given this and he was just given that. Like, no, he had to earn everything. And look at all the time that took for him to get there. That's
I
just
will
like
say
when he
though,
had
Rowlet kind of cheated.
I mean, but Rowlet technically didn't cheat, and that's another reason why I like that it's continuity because like his original mods were still like, with the exception of Pidgeot, Charizard, and I forgot what else he evolved, like Butterfree. Everybody else was just regular baby like forms. They were
Come
just
on.
first form. But
Except for the
think about
fact
it,
that bro had a mythical,
Squirtle was
fully evolved
Squirtle throwing
Pokemon.
out a dude would throw out a Machamp, and Squirtle would go toe to toe with it, or like
This nigga
Bulbasaur.
had a Melmetal and a Nagandol,
I
He
like,
mean,
did, but he didn't use
and a
all of those
Solgaleo.
mons. He didn't use all of those mons to become a champion. Though he had them, but he didn't use all of them.
Did he
He
not
didn't use
use
Nag. He didn't use
Melmetal?
Naganadel to compete. The Mel Metal probably was the only one that he used, probably, and I don't even remember it that well to agree to disagree with that. But I know when it came to Solgaleo, he didn't use that in any in any shape or form. Naganadel only he used him to like go up against the Ultra Beast whenever they came, and they were basically like taking over the island. But like in the sense of Mel Metal, that probably was the only one he actually competed with. The other ones he didn't compete with, he just helped raise them. Or when he needed
Hey, I
their help,
mean,
like that was it. So I mean
I used
that's a
the
different
Melmetal
ball.
too, so I can't really complain.
But that's besides my point because it's like when he fought, I think that was Gen 3 when he went up against Tobias with the Darkrai, the Latios, and all of them. Like you gotta think about it. They got people like that exist. And a lot of us, if we were allowed in that world, you can't say
That'd be
people
me.
wouldn't have teams of mythicals or legendary. So it's like, yeah, so it's like it's kind of unfair. It is, it's accepted, but it could be frowned upon amongst other people. So it's
I
like,
mean, the gym leader had 3 Reggie. Like, that
but
nigga had a Reggie Rock, Reggie Ice, and Reggie Steel.
nobody slandered when he went to Battle Frontier and all them niggas that had all them cop ass teams. Nobody slandered Tobias.
I
Nobody
did.
said shit to Tobias. But I'm
I
saying not enough people. You might have said something, but it wasn't enough to where it was like
I
you
I
can
feel like
globally look at this and be like, nah, that ain't right. So it's like why slander Ash for having mons that he's not even using competitively, but he has them. And he
Because
technically
he
did
used
use
it.
what he said.
Did he not use a
He
mythical Pokemon?
only male metal. And he didn't know it was a mythical. So it's like, can you blame a 10-year-old? No. Come on, man.
What, was he 10?
yeah.
Because I feel like
Bro,
Ash should be in his mid
Lycan
20s.
Rock was his ace. Lycan Rock was the MVP. A
The
rock type
dust form
that
special
had an
like in Rock though,
exclusive
right?
exactly,
Or midnight form.
exactly. Nah, it was the dust form. It was not the midnight or the midday. But that's my point. Like that was the MVP. When his whatchamacallit evolved into Incineroar, Buddy went to sleep, like passed out like this, flexing. He went out swinging, but he wasn't like the one that carried them all the way. Lycan Rock did that.
That's because this ain't VGC, my boy. And
It don't
Cineroar is
matter. It don't matter whether it's VGC or not. My point is, his ace did what he needed to do. His ace was not a mythical. His ace was not an ultra beast. His ace was not a legendary. So it is nothing to look at when it comes to that. I mean, give Ash Skeptile his props when he fought against Tobias. Give Infernape his props. He not
Man.
using the most broken minds to like achieve any of this stuff that he's doing.
Well, all
And in the
right.
anime, it's completely different anyway.
The anime and the manga are completely different. So I'm gonna let y'all get y'all closing arguments. Tell the people who they should vote for in the comments and why they should vote for you. So once again, I'm gonna start with Pokemon. Give you your closing arguments. What you got for me, big dog?
So I feel like it should be Pokemon because, like I said, you get a party of 6, they're interchangeable. You're not just stuck with just one, right? You get the option if you come across legendaries and stuff like that to have them on your team. You get to travel a world. You can do it with friends. You can do it by yourself. You experience. You have fun. You grow. You laugh, play, all that stuff. You can rack up on bread because you know the motherfuckers be having that money. And you're young. You have the whole world to see. Like everything is within the palm of your hand. Whatever you decide to do, you can just do it. Like I said, you can look at it from a standpoint fan favorites to just a competitive standpoint. You can choose to run a secret organization and pretend to be a cute little innocent person. Like it just depends on how you look at it. Or you can just cruise through and just be like a regular Douglas citizen. It just all depends. But at the end of the day, it's all about having fun, and I feel like that's what that offers, and it allows you to be at peace and just be able to let your inner child shine. So that's my argument.
Okay. I'm glad you started off with saying that because what I would say is I'm not exactly the most flowing when it comes to money. Like, like people need to save their money. Things getting expensive. You telling me if I go down the street with my buddy, my buddy Agumon, like I said, we just going down the street, we going to pick up groceries. We got everything in our basket or rather go into the line. We see little Timmy look us straight dead in our eyes. You know what that means, right? As a Pokemon person, you know what that means? We got to battle them. So
Yeah.
let's just say, I don't know, he don't want to fight. I send out somebody else. My Dratini that I just caught level 15 is nice. I haven't really trained that much with him. And he throws out his Rayquaza level 100. I lose. That's my entire paycheck and my groceries. Then I got to go home, get yelled at. Now I'm sleeping on the couch.
As a 10-year-old, whooped your ass.
As a
It could be a potential reach,
digidestined,
but I get it. I get it.
as a digidestined, you don't got to do all that. For real. Given if you're in the real world, you don't really go to any places. You don't really have to. But if you have a Digimon that can transform to anything, because Digimon routes are not linear. You can branch off into whatever Digimon you want to go to. Like your Digimon might not be able to grow wings in this stage, but it might do it in another stage. So you can go wherever you want. And look, maybe you want to go to the beach and you're not close enough. Into the digital world, go to the beach area. It's in the code. You can go anywhere you want to in the digital world. It's free. It's straight up free. Matter of fact, I just do it. Being a Digimon Destined, just a Digidestined, free real estate. You go wherever you want to. It's easy. Me personally, have fun with my homies. Just saying.
That easy though? Were they really just living scotch free? Because I could have sworn I saw them boys spending and struggling. It wasn't all peaches and cream, but they had fun, and I feel like that's the important part.
That's all it is. And that's my closing.
All right, folks. Well, that has been a great episode. Let us know in the comments. Please, for us, like, share, subscribe. Let us know if you enjoyed. Let us know who you think won. We are going to see you back next week where we come back at you in Anime Court with all the livest debates that you could ever have here. Only in Anime Court, only right here on the UNAB network all weekend long where you can check us out. And we will be here back with another episode of Blur Trap House next week. We'll see you then. Make sure you vote in the comments.